Your right hand. Those opposed, the same. Jen, do you have anything in addition?
Are you gonna talk about the hospital fourth quarter bill?
No, probably should be. Maybe
Okay.
you should, or should bring it up.
And I'm going through the commissioner's budget. I have a huge issue that I need to bring up with some recommendations hopefully, and Don's here. We did the appropriation for the EMS last year at the $300,000 that was contracted with them. The only oversight on behalf of me and everything was we didn't appropriate the $93,000 bill that came in 2012 from the fourth quarter of 2011. So our appropriation didn't factor in the fourth quarter bill that came in February for payment to finish out before we entered into the contract. So we're short 93,000 some odd dollars in the EMS.
Take it out of seated.
So I was looking for recommendations
You
in
got
the motion.
150 in there that you didn't buy an ambulance, take it out of seated.
And see, I think that's really appropriate because I think, I didn't do the seated plan the prior year, but I'll bet that money's in that seated plan.
Might well be.
Well, didn't you fund EMS by seated prior to this year?
Partially.
Partially,
Partially?
part of it was in the commissioner's
Yeah.
line item.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that might well be, but you gotta,
I
you got a pretty
think-
good carryover from that.
No, I think seated would be probably appropriate because that's, I think that's where it probably would have come from at that point in time. So, yeah, that, I did put it, I did put it in, but I put it 2013 and 14. Why don't we just spend it, why don't we take it out of the 13, 14 and spend it now? Can we do that?
Now, you're adding to that every year, right, Jen? Because
Right,
that
this
amount
year we're
goes up every year.
right, this year in the commissioner's budget, out of county general, it's 310 instead of 300.
Yeah,
So
well-
I'm following the contract of the
Yeah.
5-year plan.
Right.
But now it's county general. The only issue I have is we've short funded the commissioner's budget by, if it wasn't such a huge amount, we probably wouldn't notice, but that definitely stuck them in the hole at the end of the year. So we need to move that out of there to fund it.
So you need a motion that we can recommend to the commissioners that they change that, your seated plan
For the
this
payment
year.
on-
to
Yeah, I'd like the
incorporate
motion to say pay it out of 2012.
They got it, right.
See it.
We do that.
Because Kim's right, we had 150 in there for an ambulance we didn't spend, so it's not like we have to reach out and find it.
Okay.
So, and it would help us tomorrow when we start on the seated plan. So, because she'll have to change the numbers, but we need accurate numbers anyway, so, okay.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Bill made the first.
Those in favor of the motion signify by your right hand. Opposed, the same. Commissioners report.
All right.
Is that this one right here?
Yeah.
And nobody knows we're here.
We already.
I'll try to make this as brief as I can. Attorney Sigler, in his talk with us yesterday, we have 2 new claims against the suits, or pending suits against us. Both came from the Sheriff's Department.
15 minutes.
I think both might have involved the same individual, not sure. He'll work on that. We did talk to the sheriff about the jail update and the courthouse security system. Now, I guess I thought we were bringing the security system in today, but the sheriff has only gotten 1 quote so far. He's gonna try to look for a second quote. I don't know. I would honestly say, I would defer to John. If you have questions on that, John's probably the guy.
I got a question. Is his quote to change the whole system or that parts of it which aren't working right?
What has taken place, the system in there is 8 years old. Some of the motion detectors and the setting of the computer system is outdated, and they need to go in, update the system with the motion detectors and so that it's also capable of programming when you want the alarm system to be on, when it's to be off. And the other factor in it is it's a card reader system similar to what we have here in the government center, so that you could put your card up and come in rather than being buzzed in.
So we're not really talking about taking that system out, put a new system in, we're talking about bringing that one up to date.
Up to date, yes.
And the buzzing in is that door there across from the jail?
South door.
South door,
Yes.
okay.
That's where we wanna go with the card.
Card reader.
Okay,
That's it, kinda in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's perfect, but I knew you could tell them better than I did. Now, so that kind of brings up the badges, okay? I think we're probably, I'm working towards getting the employees to wear their badges. I think the public deserves to know who they're talking to, and it's something I had to get used to in my previous employer. You always had to have your badge on. So we are working on that, but also because that's your key. So it's kind of a dual purpose thing. So we're working on wearing the badges.
And that'll serve as a key also.
It does serve as a key, really. That's how I get in and out here.
Government center.
Yeah.
And that will change at
We've
the
got it.
courthouse.
I took it home and put it in the safe and I got it and it's still there and it stayed there. And
Well, you know,
I'm not comfortable carrying that around.
Well, and I understand that, and I'm sure our policy will kind of eliminate elected officials, okay? But I'm just telling you, man to man, Bill over there ought to have that on when he's in the public working, because people deserve to know who they're talking to. Not everybody in Whitley County knows you. 99% of them do. But if they, stop for directions or something like that, you tell them. I'm just thinking that I come from an atmosphere where you had to have it on constantly, and I think that's a good thing. So that's just sort of a by the by, but it fits in with the security because that will be your key. We rezoned some land beside the. It's the old Farm Bureau home, I call it a home, out on Business 30 East, next to the old REMC. Kenai, Community Action of Northeast Indiana, has taken over that home. I'm not sure whether it was given to them or how it worked, but Kenai is there now. And what we found was, and I'm not a planning commission person, I apologize, but it was more of a manufacturing area. We needed to change it to more of a business, commercial area. So the planning commission had a 6-0 recommendation, and we followed their recommendation. So we took care of that. We did appointments for the Plan Commission. We reappointed John Kissinger to the Columbia City Plan Commission, John Johnson to the Whitley County Plan Commission, and Doug Wright to the Whitley County Plan Commission. And in doing so, there was some concern on reappointing these people. During the wind energy process, some of the Plan Commission members just didn't talk. They just didn't talk. And Paula, you can chime in on this too. George says, because of the concern of reappointment, George said that's kind of changed, and everybody sort of learned their lesson and are now talking. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Everyone is being more verbal. You always had your 1 or 2 or 3 that were verbal as it is, like myself included, but there were some that did not
Right.
speak, but it has gotten much better.
But I only point out John Johnson because John Johnson's a quiet guy. That's his nature. Always has been. But anyway, we reappointed that. You guys need to reappoint somebody or appoint somebody to the Planning Commission.
We talked about that, and she's gonna do those January meetings is when she's.
Yeah, in January we'll have the new committee and stuff out, but as far as,
Doesn't have any political.
as far as you guys, you need to, there's actually a couple of things that, of appointments that your group needs to do. The other one is, it's not new, we just didn't realize we had from the solid waste board side, there's a committee called the Joint Advisory Board. When our new interlocal agreement was made, we all looked at it and go, what is this? We already have a solid waste board. And many, including myself, misinterpreted it, what it meant. Let me tell you what the Joint Advisory Board's for. It has nothing to do with the solid waste district. It's just that the solid waste district pays the county $12,000 a year currently to take the money and disperse the money. So the county gets 12 grand. All this Joint Advisory Board does is meet annually before October and decide if that's a proper amount. So it is a member from the commissioners, it is a member from the council, and then we have opted, our thoughts are, it should be the treasurer and the auditor, and our thoughts are, let's wait till after the first of the year till we have a new treasurer in place, because we're not in a hurry. They have to meet before October. So you need to consider an appointment, and Glenn LaRue, I just want to note, Glenn LaRue is on the solid waste board, so he understands it very well, so.
Has that ever increased since the beginning of our relationship?
Yeah, because we originally did not pay anything for years.
Okay.
And then we decided at the solid waste board that we really should be paying something to the county.
I'll bet it's
So-
time to increase it,
Well, it could be.
maybe.
I looked at it because I was basing it on households. We have 10,500 and some homesteads, which that doesn't mean that there's not more houses than 10,000, but commonly that's about, so figured out to about exactly $1,000 a month for us to put them on, collect the money, settle it, and then to redistribute it to them. So I didn't think it was a bad price. If you look salary wise, it's like a third of someone's, either out of my office or the treasurer's office.
I think there's actually like 13.5 or something like
That's
that.
there's
Residents.
actually, when we bought blue containers, we bought almost 13,500, so.
So 10,000 are homesteads and 3,000
So if you just did $1 a homestead, there's a automatic increase right there, and if you looked at those homesteads every year, you could get an automatic increase. I mean,
Well,
if you
that
kept
board
it,
can definitely afford it.
if you kept it at $1 per household, instead of a $12,000,
Right?
you
They
did it.
can.
We work with Jorel a lot, and making sure when the occupancy permits come in, that they get the $41 charge and the $25 fee and everything. So it's a lot of work. I mean, I'm just stating.
And I know that they're pretty healthy, the solid waste, so.
Okay, I'll finish up here if you don't care. We had a request from the public, and I think it's a good request that on our website then, that we say who is on each commission or each board, where they're from, who appoints them, and what their terms are. And I think that's a reasonable request if we're gonna be transparent, and I think we should be. Look at your I told you we're gonna work on the CETA plan tomorrow at 9 a.m. If a member wanted to be here, that'd be great. I think it's probably our intentions, I know the commissioners didn't talk about this, but I think it's my intention at this point to not really accept public comment tomorrow. That's not why we're here, but the public is obviously welcome. I don't know if Otto's coming or who, but you know, it's an open meeting because we suspended our meeting yesterday. So it's an announced meeting, and it'll be held tomorrow at 9 o'clock. But I don't look for taking public comment. It's just a way for us three to sit down and really talk about the CETA program and not have anybody say we're behind closed doors. Jim, if you got an upcoming auction,
Got one January 12th.
we have 2 cars.
So it's
Is
gonna
that-
be just up in that lake, does that matter?
we sort of checked on that, and I think the answer we came up with is no, it doesn't matter. It has to be advertised in this county, and the location must be told, but how would that be any different if we put it on eBay and it goes out across the country?
Well, I'll have it on the
So-
website.
Well, I'm just saying though, we're still telling the people of the county that we're having
Well,
this
I'll have
auction.
Council papers and all of that.
And
But it's
we're-
a man-type sale where that would sell good. I mean, tools,
That's
it's not
fine.
household goods.
Well, that's fine.
antiques and stuff.
Yeah, so if you could do that, we'd appreciate it.
I
We'll
need
have
to
those-
get the information from somebody that years.
I'll get the two, titles pulled, I'll have him sign, and the cars are sitting down
I
at the
saw them cars back there.
highway, I don't know where the keys are at. Guess I'm
The
can.
the sheriff's department said yesterday that information stating one had a bad engine is not true. So, that,
We can usually tell what we
that-
know, so I sell them as is.
absolutely, but I was told by a prospective buyer that one had a bad engine, and they said, no, it does not, so. Were you gonna talk about this, or do you want me to?
You can let them know.
Okay, the commissioners yesterday decided to, and I may have to defer to Pam here we're gonna allow the employees to join the Y, it includes all of you too, it would be payroll deduction. There is no cost to the county, no cost to the county in this program, but it does allow you to join the YMCA at a lesser rate than the average person and pay through payroll deduction. So we think that's kind of a neat thing for employees. Jenny gave me this at AIC is talking about, they're in the talking stages of having a statewide AIC health insurance plan. They're checking it out to see if it could save the counties any money.
They've been working on that for a while, haven't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
This summer was the first I heard about it, and in fact, they didn't even mention it until we'd already worked with our current provider. I will tell you this, our current provider was kind enough to submit the information they asked for, you know. But then we also learned that our current provider still could be, I can't think of what the terminology is, he could be the agent through this outfit too, so. George and I attended the Indiana Association of County Commissioners last week. We are looking, we're gonna re-quote we are currently under contract with Border Energy for natural gas. We have two other firms that are asking to provide a quote, so we are gonna take quotes in the near future to re-quote the border contract. We did find, I'm not sure how this slid by, but it's not that big a deal. The border contract didn't have an end date to it. It just has a 30-day cancellation clause, so that's how we'll have to handle that. And interestingly enough, Border's interested in re-quoting too, so, okay. Oh,